So in this video we're going to talk about hooking up. Should you hook up? And the unsexy truth about the hookup culture. And when I say hookup, I mean a sexual encounter, whether it's vaginal, anal, or oral, between two people who are not dating and they're not in a relationship. Right? They don't expect anything further after hooking up. It's like it's spontaneous, it's unplanned. Most of the time it's fueled with alcohol. There's no communication about sexual health. Sometimes there's not even any consent. Most of the time it's unsafe, unprotected. No protection from STDs. And it starts at parties where there's a lot of alcohol. And this happens mostly with college students and university students. But adults hook up also. So when I say hook up, I mean having sex for pleasure, for fun, to gain experience, right? Not expecting anything after. You're not dating, nor are you in a relationship. You just hook up. That's what I mean when I say hook up, because people have different meanings or definitions to hook up, right? So when I say hook up, that's what I mean in this video. So, the unsexy truth about hookup. What hookup really exposes you to, the other side that the media is not really telling you about, right? So when you have one night stand, most of the time you have been drinking, you're partying, right? You're sweaty and you're dirty. And the sex could be just nasty, bad, awful, or unsatisfying sex. Because most of the time, the male, they only care about their pleasure, right? You also expose yourself to STDs, STIs, HIV, AIDS, unwanted pregnancy. You might need an abortion just because of a one-night stand. When you wake up, after you've been drinking and you get sober, you might start to feel taken for granted, used, abused, sexually abused, emotionally abused. And this creates trauma. It could cause you to get depressed, cause you to get anxiety because you feel shame, you regret, you feel guilty, and there's a lot of resentment, right? And also, situationships are formed when you're hooking up. Friends with benefits are formed. You have all these casual relationships that goes to nowhere. And additional things that could happen to you, mostly for women, this video is kind of geared towards girls, young ladies, women of whatever age, whatever stage in life you are and you're hooking up. What else could happen? When you're hooking up, maybe the guy used condom, but during sex, at mid-sex, they take the condom off. And then you're exposed to diseases. They take the condom off to maximize their pleasure. They might lie about their status. They probably don't even know if they have a disease. And then, after days pass, they're talking rumors about you. They could be talking lies about you to their friends. And this could ruin your reputation, make you feel embarrassed, make you feel shame, make you feel guilty of what you have done because they're talking about the encounter with their friends. Males gossip a lot with their friends about sexual encounters that they had. And most of the time, it's in a degrading and a derogative way. After they finish hooking up with you, they could look at you and say that you're a bitch, you're a slut, you're a hoe, you're for the streets, you're not worthy of commitment, you're not worthy of marriage, you're not worthy of a serious relationship. And also, under the influence of alcohol and heavy drinking, you could get raped. You could block out and you could be easily persuaded to do things that you might not want to do. And promiscuity is just combined with, it comes with heavy drinking, using drugs, alcohol, not getting enough rest, not eating well, not taking care of yourself, right? So, what you might not know is that when guys hook up, is sometimes just to boost their ego. They need to show to their friends and to society that they're dominant, they're masculine, they're not a virgin, that they could have sex with whoever girl they want, that girls want to have sex with them, right? Men bond bragging about who they have sex with and how they have sex with girls just to fit in. And when they're doing this, sometimes they talk about you like an object. When you're hooking up with guys, some of them, they don't care about you. They don't care if you get pregnant. They don't care if they give you a disease or they have disease. They don't know what you like in bed. They don't care about what you like in bed. They're just hooking up. It's not a relationship. They don't care if you get pregnant. They don't care if you get hurt. They just want to have pleasure. And that's why the sex could be bad. It's awful. It's painful. It's violent and aggressive most of the time when you're hooking up. No, I must say, not all men you hook up with are bad. I'm not here to bash men. I'm not here to talk bad about men. I love men. I like men. I would not talk bad about men or try to bring men down. Males have a lot of pressure to have sex at an early age. They have a lot of pressure to have multiple sex partners because they need to show that they're dominant, they need to show that they're masculine, and they want to fit in with their friends and be accepted by society. Men need to show that they could have sex with whoever they want and not catch feelings and don't care about it, and they are praised for that. If they're a virgin and they're not getting any sex at all at some point in their life, they will be bullied and shamed by their friends and by society. When they are promiscuous, it gives them a status. Society actually praise men and encourage men to be promiscuous and look down upon them when they're not having sex, they're a virgin. So guys have a lot of pressure to have sex with multiple women. So I must say that I'm not bashing men. I'm not saying that men are bad. The men that you hook up with are bad. Yes, some are careless and some are worthless and really don't care. But I must acknowledge that there's a pressure for guys to have sex, right? So, how hooking up damages our health, physically and mentally. The unsexy truth about hookup, what hooking up really exposes you to. And that could be prostate cancer, cervical cancer, throat cancer, sexual trauma, constantly having violent sex, aggressive sex, awful sex, unsatisfying sex constantly could cause some damage in your psyche. I'm not a psychologist, but if you think about this, having sex aggressively and in a violent manner, hooking up, knowing that the person you're with does not care about you, can cause some sort of mental distress. You could also get performance anxiety. You have misconception about sex, how you should be. You look at porn often to get education. And all these things create problems with your sex life, especially if you're at a young age and you're not supposed to be having sex, or if you're of age and you're having sex and you're using porn to get education. Hooking up also, like if you already have some sort of mental health problem, like you probably suppressing emotions, or you probably have depression already or anxiety. When you drink heavily and you hook up, you want to try to reduce these negative emotions that you have, trying to eradicate or get rid of these emotions by hooking up, you're actually going to make yourself feel worse, because when you get sober, the problems are still there and they might be even worse. Right? And that creates personality disorders. Substance abuse disorders. Drinking heavily, smoking constantly just to suppress emotion, and hooking up, and it makes it worse. Right? And hooking up constantly also, you have an inability to build meaningful relationship and intimate relationships, because you're constantly hooking up. You don't know how to have a meaningful, healthy, romantic relationship. Right? That could be a problem. And especially if you're a woman, a girl, young lady, your friends might just stop supporting you. Sometimes if you get pregnant, for example, by someone you hook up with, people sometimes they don't care about that, and sometimes they say that you deserve, and people stop supporting you and look at you in a bad light. Right? Also, you can have this when you're hooking up, you could have this internal conflict. You're confused about if you just have sexual desires, or you want a romantic relationship. You start to create feelings, you start to develop feelings, and then you're confused if it's just like sexual desires, or you're in love, or you want a relationship. So that's the internal conflict is created, right? And you also have the negative social consequences of people calling you a bitch, a slut, a hoe for the streets, and many other things they could call you, right? And I must mention again the psychological distress that hooking up comes with, especially if you're a female and you get emotionally attached to who you're hooking up with, and then they don't care about it because it's not a relationship, it's just hooking up, you're not looking for anything after. Then your self-esteem it starts to get low. You have low self-esteem, you have low self-worth, then you look at yourself in a bad way, a bad self-concept. Then you start to get depressed, and you're anxious and stressed. Why? Because you feel guilty and you feel shame, and there's a lot of resentment. Right? In the moment, you're probably feeling positive, you're having fun, you feel like you're desired and you're wanted, and it's spontaneous, and you go with the flow. But after the next day, when you wake up and you get sober, you regret, you feel bad after, right? And hooking up just takes so much energy and time and money, both men and women. The energy and time and money you have to use to hook up could be used to find your purpose, work on your dreams, work on your objective, work on your passion. Right? It takes a lot of time and energy to be hooking up. So, for women who want to get married and they want children, society might say, your friends, family might say that you're young, have fun, be free, experiment, explore, be single, you have a lot of time, you shouldn't be tied down, you shouldn't be getting married at an early age. Which we know, yes, it's possible that when you get married at an early age, sometimes it doesn't work out. But that's not the case all of the time. If you know what you want, you know you want marriage, and you know you want kids, you don't really have a lot of time. Because if a woman's peak reproductive years is at late teens, late 20s, and the cutoff point is 30, when your fertility starts to decline at 30, how much time do you really have to be hooking up? when you know dating and being in a relationship takes months and years. Sometimes you're dating someone, you get in a relationship, and then that might be 2-3 years pass, and then you move on to someone else, then you date, and then you're in another relationship. That takes years. So if you know what you want, if you know you want marriage and you want kids, there's not a lot of time, right? And some females, they might be worried about people saying that they're boring, that they're extremely religious, you know, that they're uptight. Men might say that you can't go with the flow, that you're not spontaneous, and that you're not fun, and then you start to hook up. You have to know like what you want. If you want marriage and you want kids, there's not a lot of time, right? And we women, we don't choose who we're going to be with. Men choose us. So, and I'm not talking about women, I'm not talking about when women manipulate, lie, bribe, try to get pregnant to have someone to commit to them. Manipulate, right, I said manipulate already. Forcing men to be with you, trying to make them feel guilty to be with you. I'm not talking about that, because obviously that would be a dysfunctional relationship. It will be toxic and unhealthy, and more than likely that man is going to cheat on you because he didn't pick you, right? So women, we don't pick, we are chosen by men. And when men choose, they are going to choose someone young, not someone who is in mid-30s, 40s, when the fertility starts to decline, right? So don't think you have a lot of time. So that's the end of this video. That's my insight about hooking up, the hookup culture. That's the unsexy truth about hooking up that the media is not really telling you. So I must remind you that I'm not here to tell you what to do with your life. If you're of age and you can have sex and you're of age, you could do what you want, but with judgment and good discretion. If you're under the age, you should not be having sex, you should not be hooking up, you should not be drinking heavily or smoking, right? And this video was not to talk bad about men. I am not bashing men, and men are not bad. The men that you hook up with are not bad. They have a lot of pressure to have sex and to show that they're dominant, because they will be bullied and shamed by society. So that's all I have for this video, and I hope this was informative to you, and see you in the next video.